Welcome. This is an overview video for new features being released in September of 2015 for ScreenScape. The new release this September is all about our central content management tool. We call it Screen Manager, and specifically it's around new features to help our group users. These are users that process a lot of content. They publish it into a lot of different venues, and there's a lot of management tasks and repetition that's involved with that type of mandate. And the tools that we've introduced with this release are designed to reduce that repetition, to speed up the execution of those tasks, and generally just to save time for our group users. The new Group Publish tool is organized into 4 main work areas, and they're all designed to work one with the other. If you're familiar with the old Group Publish tool, you'll be familiar with this tool. The lists in the center, the content list and the member list, are the same. What we've added are 2 new columns on the left and on the right to help you organize your content lists and your member lists. So content tags here on the far left are organizational tools for your content items here, and member tags on the far right are organizational tools for your list of members here in column number 3. And the interaction between these columns will also be familiar. In the old tool, you could drag and drop between content and members, and in the new tool you can drag and drop pretty much between any column. So from column 1 to 2, from 1 to 3, to 1 to 4, you could drag from content into column 1 or over to column 3 or over to column 4. All of those interactions make sense. They all do something slightly different, but it's pretty easy to get the hang of. So say if I wanted to add some new content items to my educational content, I would just select those items, drag them, and drop them, and I'm done. So what are content tags? Content tags are very similar to member tags. If you're familiar with that concept in the community, we use it for creating ad hoc collections of members for whatever reason. It might be a group of members that I want to distribute content to. It might be a group of members that I want to find easily later. They might be organized by geography or by the type of user or by the type of content that they receive. Well, content tags are pretty much the same thing. I can create any ad hoc content tag that I want, and I can use it to create a collection or a set of content items for whatever reason makes sense for me. So it might be all my educational content should be found and inside this content tag, and all of the lunch specials that I'm publishing on Tuesdays, I've got a content tag for that. If I want to create new ones, I just go into the tag interface and create a new content tag. Colors are an easy way to find these tags again later on, so color coding through this interface right here. Say add, and done. And now I've got that content tag available to me to do whatever I need to with. So it's empty right now, and to fill it up I would go to all my content, listed under my content. I would select say these 4 items that I have decided belong to the new content tag, and I drag them over, drop them, and now when I look at that new content tag, there's 4 items in it. One of the first benefits of content tags is simple organization. Our group users have asked ScreenScape for help in keeping their content organized. It's very often that an active user, like a group manager on ScreenScape, would be creating a new content item or many new content items every day. And over time, that content library grows to hundreds of items, and it can be tough to keep it all straight. So content tags are a simple way to organize that content according to whatever criteria makes sense for your business or for the content that you're creating. It's a flexible, user-defined tool that will help you keep it all logical and organized. So for example, I might have a mix of this educational content, but maybe some of my content is entertainment based, and maybe some of it's advertisements. So all my education content could be under my education tab or tag, but I could go in here and create some entertainment options, and I could create a advertisement option. Let's give it a different color. And now if I want to go back and drop new items into entertainment and some other items into advertisements, it's easy for me to find those later, and it's easy for me to do actions with those later. So if I decide that all my educational content should be published to all of the venues in my group that I've defined as education targets, then I would drag that over and drop it onto that tag. And we're going to go into more detail about how to do those publishing steps later. But the important thing here is to remember that you can create as many content tags as you want. You can organize them and the content inside them in whichever way you want. And it really doesn't affect the content itself. It just gives it an attribute which you can choose to remove later or add to later. So the same piece of content could belong to multiple different tags. If it made sense for say this Quattro content item to be added to a tag called automotive or Audi, makes perfect sense, and you might want to use that later on. So you can mix and match these tags any way you want. Probably the main benefit of this release is around streamlined publishing. If you have a very large group, a lot of members, say hundreds of members, and you have a lot of content, hundreds of different items of content, some of it's organized by the type of content, some of it's organized by playlists and how the different items relate to one another, mixes of content. It can get pretty complex trying to figure out exactly what should be published to which venues in your group at any given time. And so keeping all that straight is the purpose of these updates to this new tool. So we've already introduced content tags and the idea of how to create and manage these content tags, how to get content into them. Let's go and look at an example. Say I created a content tag for all of my Audi content, advertisements for Audi, and there was a subset of my members in my group that I wanted to receive Audi content. So similar to the way we created content tags, we can create member tags, and I have 6 members assigned to this Audi campaign. And if I wanted to distribute all of the content that's been assigned to the Audi ads content tag over to all the members that have been assigned the Audi campaign member tag, I would just drag it from one side of the screen to the other and drop it onto the member tag. So publish Audi ads to the Audi campaign, okay. And the result there is that these 3 items have all been published out to these 6 venues. So 3 times 6, basically 18 different content publishing events just happened with that one drag and drop. So one of the nice follow-on benefits of this streamlined publishing approach is around ordered publishing. It's often the case that our users are creating content items that belong together, and they belong together in certain ways. It could be that there's a mix of entertainment and advertising, and you don't want the advertisements to play back to back, or It could be that there's a sequence of content and it really matters that number 1 comes before number 2 and number 2 comes before number 3. The challenge up till now has been that if you publish them all together, then when they go out to that playlist, the order doesn't necessarily hang together. So you're sending them out to a playlist, and you later on have to follow up and go into that playlist and make sure that none of the advertisements are playing back to back, for example. What this new release does is allow you to set up in advance what the explicit order should be, to group all those things together into a playlist that you can push out all at once to as many venues as you need. So what I've done here is create an example where I've created 4 content items, and the sequence of those items is pretty self-explanatory, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if I were to publish these out just as a in the old way and drop these onto a venue, it would publish all of them, but I would need to then follow up and kind of drag and drop and put those into the right order. What this new release does is allow me to create a content tag, change the order or order those items within the content tag, and then when I publish from that tag, the order that I've defined there is respected after the publishing event. So let's take a look at that. So I've gone ahead here and created a content tag called ordered playlist, and I've taken those 4 content items and I've dragged them into the ordered playlist, and I've just used my drag and drop feature to change the order into 1, 2, 3, 4. And now when I drag and drop this ordered playlist over to a venue or over to all 6 of the venues in this Audi campaign, I'll see that that ordered playlist is published to all 6 of these venues, and it's published in the order that I requested, 1, 2, 3, 4. So every one of these is now in the right order. And what that's done is saved me 6 follow-up steps. I don't have to go into each one of these playlists and rearrange the order in the way I did before. Over time, those extra steps could really add up, and so this is a real time saver for venues or group users that have a lot of venues in their group. So last but not least in this release, one of the major new things that you'll see centers around member actions. It's often the case that ScreenScape group users are responsible for maintaining multiple venues, so they're managing a group where it's their job to make sure that all the different venues in the group are set up correctly, that they have the right location set to them, they have the right RSS preferences, they have the right logo assigned to them. When corporate branding changes and they need to add a new logo, it's been their job to go in and make sure that everyone is brand compliant. And so these users have asked us for help in making that job easier. And what we've done is really centralized a lot of that work and automated it so that the repetition of logging in to all the different member accounts and making those individual changes has been removed. So you can all do it centrally from this one account, and you can do it in bulk. So for example, if I wanted to, say, change the logo for all my groups, this is the old logo here with the white WRC with the black background. This is the new one. I see some of my members are brand compliant, some of them aren't. Some of them are really way out. They've got the old logo. 2 logos ago. So I want to use this new feature to make sure that everyone in my group has got the new logo. Previous to this, I would have to either send them emails and try to get them to do that and send them the JPEG that had the new logo and kind of bug people to do it, or I would have to get access to their account, log into that account, and do it for them. None of that's really desirable. So the new way is to highlight all the members of the group, so 38 members selected, go into actions, say update member logo, go into my own library where I have the latest version of the logo, and one click and you're done. All of the logos now across the entire group are up to date. Some of the other actions that you can do in bulk are around defining the location for a particular group. So if I wanted to make sure that my Manhattan location was correctly defined, I can go in here and update the location on behalf of this user. Just pick a spot. And now this particular venue has exactly that location. And I can do follow-on activities like make sure that the weather that is defaulting for that location is defined by the latitude longitude that we just created there. So some time-saving tips across the board there for all the different venues in my group. That's been a brief overview of some of the newest features coming to ScreenScape in September of 2015. We hope you get good use out of them and that you save some time in some of these efficiency features.